2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I thank my friend from Tennessee for yielding, and especially for his passion, the statements that he just made, and the importance of not only standing up for Israel, which we all need to do, but standing up against anti-Semitism, against the kind of attacks on Israel that the very Iron Dome are necessary for. The Iron Dome represents one of those great partnerships between our two great nations, this great bond between the United States and Israel, allowing Israel to defend themselves against attacks from Gaza, against attacks from terrorists who want to destroy Israel as a Jewish state. That's what this has always been about. And it had been heartening for decades that this was always a bipartisan issue. We shouldn't have to be here today to pass this bill because it should have been passed on Tuesday. There was a vote on the House floor to ensure Israel had the money to defend themselves, to put that $1 billion back in, and on a straight party line vote, every Democrat voted it down. I don't know why. On Tuesday, they were against Israel's Iron Dome defense, and today, maybe things will change. Hopefully things will change. But we ought to always stand with Israel, and especially with what the Iron Dome represents. I've been to Israel. I've been to the areas where the Iron Dome is actually utilized effectively to save Jewish lives, to save everybody's life who lives in Israel, whether it's Jews, Palestinians, anyone who lives in Israel under threat of terrorist attack can at least have some solace at knowing that the Iron Dome is there to protect them. Thousands of rockets were fired into Israel by terrorists. And that's why we need to put this $1 billion in place to allow them to replenish the Iron Dome missiles that saved lives in Israel. Saved lives in Israel. That's what this is about. We should be with Israel, not just on Thursday. We should also be with them on Tuesday, on Monday. Every single day, we need to stand with our ally Israel against attacks that we see from anti-Semites around the world. I strongly urge passage of this bill, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlelady from Connecticut.